Is the Dubai real estate market a bubble?
The real estate market's going really, really well, but then everything else is crumbling. That's a bubble.
The value for money here is incredible.
Yeah.
Even though you have this incredible, massive demand, I think we still have a hell of a lot more growth out of this place. You could give one piece of advice to a new real estate agent coming to Dubai, what would it be?
Be really, really selective on not only the company you choose to work for, but also the people within the company, because they're going to be the people that you'll surround yourself by. We all know that Dubai was hit with some floods, affected some areas more than others. We've had clients affected by it. We've had friends affected by it.
There's only so much in a hot country, one that's built in the desert, that you can actually prepare for that. I think they did everything in their power to do the best to prepare for it. And now they're obviously doing everything in their power to repair the damage that it's caused. It was crazy.
Welcome guys to the Brown and Ferguson podcast. We'll be sharing all things real estate and some personal experience along the way as well.
Yeah, this is our very first episode, and I think most importantly, you're just going to get to know who we are as well, and perhaps you'll get an insight into the industry, things that you don't know. Perhaps you're interested in those things as well. But yeah, let's kick it off.
Yeah, so we have 3 sections we'll be going through. The first section is question time. So I'll be sharing questions with Dylan, I'll be asking him questions, and he'll be doing it vice versa. So let's get started.
Okay. Well, we just go one for one?
Yeah, I think one for one. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So my question to you is, what are you doing if your employee is a top broker but has a terrible attitude?
Wow. I think that's a dilemma that, quite a lot of company owners will have faced actually.
Yeah.
Because in real estate, I think people can develop a certain ego when it comes to
100%.
Yeah, when it comes to being a top performer and blah blah blah, people do create this ego around it, and some of them might think they're bigger than the company or they're better than the company.
Yeah.
So what would I do? I think initially it needs to be like a sit down. You need to say that, look, the values of the company are more important than anything. Like no one's bigger than the company. Because we like to treat it as a team. It's the same thing in team sports. If someone's starting to get a big ego and think they're bigger than the team, then that's going to be a massive issue. It's about cooperating together. So I think it's just trying to get through to them about those values and how important they are, and how really what they do, other people in the company are going to follow suit. So because if they're the top performer, then people will look up to them, and that's an important position to be in. That's a lot of responsibility. So I guess then the question after that would be like, what if you have these conversations? What if you try to instill these values
and they don't take it on board,
doesn't happen,
and they're still bad attitude? Maybe don't follow the rules as much, because obviously there's always grey areas. We've seen it ourselves firsthand. But what would you do if it still persists?
I think you've got to get rid of them. I think
100%.
a bad attitude in a company, I don't care how much money you bring in,
it's cancerous to a company. It spreads.
It's poison.
Yeah, because then you're basically setting the tone for the rest of the company that we condone this.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is now acceptable just because they bill very well.
And that's issues that we've seen at big companies is, they bend the rules for someone and then everyone expects that same treatment. And when it doesn't happen, there's accusations of favoritism and all that sort of stuff. So it's a difficult line to to try meander across. But I think it's just you have to set the same standards for every single person, especially in a boutique brokerage like ours. One negative person, one person that's got a bad attitude, 100%. That's going to just literally spread through the rest of the team. So I mean, I don't care how much money you're bringing in, if you're not willing to have a good attitude and add towards the team, add value to the rest of the team, then you're out.
There's the door.
Yeah.
Okay, your question.
Right, my question. Let me get it up here. Oh, what one do I want to ask you first? Okay, I want to ask you something.
Feel nervous.
No,
feel nervous.
this is relevant to the Dubai real estate market.
Okay.
And I think I'm just interested to hear your answer to this. So, if budget wasn't an issue, you've got unlimited cash.
Oh.
You're Jeff Bezos level.
Dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous.
Dangerous.
What area and what type of property are you living in Dubai?
You know what? I get hot and cold with this all the time. Like, 1 minute I want, because you know what it is? We see everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We're one of the few people that go into so many homes. We get to see the beachfront stuff. We see the skyscrapers. We've been in penthouses. We've been on the 145th floor. Like, and that's just our job.
Yeah.
But we get spoiled because we've seen so much that like the standards just keep going, oh, but now this and now that, and that's awesome.
But at least you've seen it all, so you can make a
better judgment, you'd think. But, you know, 1 minute I want to be on a penthouse and I want to overlook a beautiful city, and it's igniting, and it's, you know, it's busy, and it charges you. And then the next minute, like that villa we viewed on the Palm. Oh my God. Sunset over the fronts, private beach, can go kayaking. Like if I, honestly, it depends on the stage of my life. Like right now, I'd probably take a penthouse, to be honest. Not just because of Dubai flooding, okay? But like right now, being 27 and young, I feel like this is the time to be in my apartment era, my penthouse era. But I think further down the line, as and when like we have kids and like have a family, would love to have like a villa like on the Palm or any sort of beachfront living with a villa. Even I would be open to a golf community.
Oh, perfect.
Don't hold me to that.
I will hold you. Can I get that in writing, please?
But yeah, there's just this, the caliber is so high, isn't it? So I think right now, penthouse, further down the line, villa in some sort of...
I think I'd say the same, but then again, if you put a Palm villa in front of me,
right now,
fully renovated with a pool that's got, you know, you've got direct beach access, you have your paddle boards out there, your kayaks, everything like that.
We need to get e-foils as well.
We do. But that sort of lifestyle, that beach lifestyle, imagine waking up in the morning, 6:30 a.m, going out for a sunrise paddleboard, and you don't need to travel from downtown to the Palm to do that. It's
right there.
So that's the thing. I think that's the dilemma I would have in my head. But I think penthouse, I mean, I think at some point you need to...
Unlimited money.
Unlimited money, you'd have to... Well, just buy both.
Unlimited. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Unlimited money, get both. Jumeirah Bay Island, that's super high end.
Yeah, but your primary residence, you'd say for right now, penthouse.
Penthouse. It's got to be a penthouse right now.
Okay.
Right now, yeah.
Downtown?
I just want to feel like a gangster. No, that's crazy.
Jesus.
No, but do you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing like the elevator comes up. Okay, my cars are parked. I've got a G-Wagon. I've got my, like, you know. Like
the Succession lifestyle.
Exactly. Like the doors open from the lift and I'm entering, you know?
Oh, a lift right into the apartment? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Like power.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, well, my question now. Got carried away there for a second. I was just picturing all there. What would you say to a client who says they have a flexible budget? Because we've all been there. My budget's flexible. Well, what's your budget? Oh, it's flexible. You speak to an agent. Oh, my client's interested. Okay, what's their budget? That's flexible.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an idea of area and you know what they're looking for, say they're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, whatever it is, and they want it in downtown or DIFC, then you go, okay, so what if I showed you a 4-bedroom at 10 million? Would you know, and then gauge the response on that. If they say flexible budget and they're not giving you an exact number, just put something in front of them. Just say, look, how about I show you this 4-bedroom at 15 million.
What if questions are so key.
Exactly. You have to just put stuff like that and see the response. If they go, no, that's too expensive, then clearly there is a budget. If they say, okay, yeah, we'll check it out, maybe they do have an open budget. Some people do, and they just want to see the right thing. But I think there's definitely ways that you can narrow things down. Sending them options, getting stuff in front of them, sending photos, sending a listing. That's definitely the way to combat that, in my opinion.
And this is to agents out there listening to this, watching this. Like, these questions are so key. The what if questions. What if I could get you a 3-bedroom, but it had a study? What if I could get you a 4-bedroom, but it didn't have a private pool? What if it was a view overlooking the golf course? Would you come up an extra? Like, these are the questions that will really get all the information out, because then it will identify what's their priorities, you know? And I think that it can be a combination of ego. It can be a combination of like they just don't want to give out that information right now. They're not comfortable, and that's okay. But as an agent, it's your job to
I think
identify.
a lot of people as well, they don't want to give a budget because a lot of agents will typically just go straight to the top end.
To the top end, yeah.
You say, you know, anything up to 10 million. Agents are like, right, who's got something for 10 million? Let me show the client. And it's like, wait, hold on a minute. They're saying up to 10 million. That's the top end of their budget, but it might not actually facilitate what they need. You could show them a 10 million thing, but they actually prefer the 8 million thing. And it's like, that's why it's all about getting the needs out first. And if they're wanting a 4-bedroom, but it needs to have a sea view, it needs to have this, okay, let's look at this option. This one's 8 million, this one's 12 million. Do you know what I mean? And then you can start to gauge the response there. But don't just go straight to the top end of the budget. It's a typical mistake you always see with agents. They say it right up to this number. and they just go straight to the top end and just start blowing the budget out of the water, which is just silly.
So to summarize, ask the what if questions, extract as much information as you can, but also be respectful of a range as well. Don't just jump to the top.
To summarize, just to get the exact needs of the client,
right.
the things that they cannot budge on, and then start sending them options
and educate them as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
My next question. Oh, okay. This was one I was maybe thinking it could be a whole topic in itself.
Oh God.
But I think it's important, especially now while the market's doing well.
Yeah.
Is the Dubai real estate market a bubble?
This question we get. How many times do we get this question? It's honestly, when Brexit happened, it was like, what do you think of Brexit? What do you think of Brexit? It's the only thing people kept talking about. And I feel like this is the question of 2024.
Yep.
Is this a bubble? Are we just experiencing? Is it going to come crashing down? And I've listened to so many things, and I've genuinely tried to absorb people's angles because I want to understand where they've got their stance from, where they've got the information. And from where I stand anyway, and what I've listened and what I've read and the research I do, I mean, it's our job. Short answer, no. To have a bubble, you have to have a poor, economic system. You have to have a downward fall in so many other aspects. It's not just the real estate. In order to have a bubble, it means basically the real estate market's going really, really well, but then everything else is crumbling. That's a bubble. But that's not what we have in Dubai. Tourism is higher than ever. Population's already gone up by close to 20%. This is what we're saying, is that the economy is thriving. It's so strong. There's more and more people setting up businesses. I wish I had the stats at the top of my head to drop this in right now, but more and more trade licenses are being issued, more now than ever. We're just seeing so many people coming over because they're recognizing that the UAE, not just Dubai, the UAE is just such a forward-thinking power that they are they're so on it when it comes to adjusting with the times, modernizing things. They have a minister for AI. They have a minister for crypto. Do you know what I mean? They are taking all the futuristic things, which are moving crazy fast, as we all know, and they're incorporating them into our day-to-day.
And it's things that other governments and other countries in the world
scared to talk about.
They see them as a threat.
Yeah.
Whereas Dubai sees it as a way to incorporate the new world and, grow with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. But I think what happens is a lot of people who think it's a bubble are the people who have been here for years and they've seen prices go up and down and whatever, and now they're seeing prices now and they're like, they'll come back down. But it's look at the infrastructure that is here now today. Look at the people that are here now today. Look at the traffic on the roads. We see it. People have moved. We
feel the traffic.
Yeah, people have moved their entire lives here. People are here to stay. Their families, their careers, everything is here. The population is now bigger than ever, and the amount of jobs is bigger than ever. The amount of demand for commercial space is bigger than ever. The amount of demand for residential space is bigger than ever. And still, when you compare the average price per square foot to other leading cities in the world,
still undervalued.
The value for money here is incredible.
Yeah.
Even though you have this incredible, massive demand from every single aspect, from every other metric is super in demand. The prices of real estate are still only steadily going up. It's not shot up. They're steadily going up. And, I think we still have a hell of a lot more growth out of this place. Especially if you're investing for long term, you can't go wrong. Markets will always go up and down. There's little fluctuations. You'd be naive not to expect that.
Yeah.
But if you're investing in real estate for long term, it's a no-brainer, this place.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So to summarize, no.
To summarize, it's not a bubble. I mean, look, markets go up, markets come down. It's what they do. Do I think it will correct itself in the future? Yes, but not to the extent that people are hoping for. We're not going to see COVID prices again, I mean, unless COVID round 2 wants to come and pay us a visit. But the point of them is
even then, COVID accelerated the growth of this place.
I mean, so COVID is what put us on the map, I think, because it just showed other nations how quickly we were to continue business, and we prioritized healthcare, but we managed it so well, so brilliantly. I remember being in lockdown for 2 weeks. We literally had to register on an app. Every vaccine that we ever got was registered automatically, went straight to the app. If you wanted to get your groceries, you'd have to make an application. A text message would be sent off to the government, and you got one instantly back saying you've got 30 minutes. This is your window to go out, get your groceries, be back. And everyone respected it, and it worked.
In 2 weeks, it was done.
Contained it, out in 2 weeks, businesses up and running. I mean...
So to sum up, even in a stage of global turmoil...
crisis, yeah.
There was this place...
We still led the way.
This place came out of it probably better than anywhere else.
100%.
So that just goes to show what's happening
Okay,
here.
my question. Where was I? Okay. This is such a taboo.
God, here we go.
So what are you doing if a broker, let's make it personal, if it's in your company, in our company, what are you doing if a broker is running a backhanded deal and you find out about it? And for those of you who don't know what I mean basically closing a deal but not through the company and collecting commission either through cash or through personal accounts, and effectively stealing from the company because you're closing the deal and the clients elsewhere. So yes, what would you do if you caught a broker doing that?
Well, I mean, I think it goes without saying they're out the company, without a doubt, because that then straight away that trust is gone. Working for our company, there's value in that in itself.
Yeah.
And we want then the brokers, we understand that they're giving value to us as well. It's a symbiotic relationship. There's value added on both sides. So if they're wanting to take all the value from us that we can give, but they're not willing to give value back, then that whole relationship's gone. I think it's difficult to get into the logistics whether you'd go legal with it or not, because it's a whole sort of headache. Honestly, on that side of things, I'd have to be in the situation to really understand what the best way to move forward is. But I think the main thing is that broker is gone. Their name in the market would be tarnished. I'd make sure of that, because if they're willing to screw over the people who they come to work with every day and the people that are sponsoring them for a visa, like the value we add as a company is huge. And if they're willing to screw those people over, then they'll probably screw over the clients as well. 100%. And they probably screw over other brokers. So that needs to be known in the market. I think it's about just making sure that person now has a certain reputation about them.
I think also as well, like, you need to really look yourself in the mirror before you do something like that. Like, the opportunity arises so many times for so many brokers. I mean, in 5 years, people have asked me, do you want me to just pay in cash? And I'm like, all my morals and my ethics just go out the window, you know? We've had so many opportunities and we'd always say no, because it doesn't matter what company you're at. Whichever company you're at, that's who you're loyal to.
Of course.
Even if you are thinking of leaving and you're worried they're not going to pay you, like, stick to your ethics, stick to your morals. The minute you do something wrong like that, everything you stand for, everything you've worked hard for goes out the window. Like you said, reputation is everything, especially in a business like this.
Of course.
Word spreads. And if you're just caught doing a backhanded deal, it just tarnishes everything.
Honestly, backhanded deals, the agents that do that sum up everything that's wrong with the real estate industry. The real estate industry is a fantastic place, and there's I've met the best people in my life in this industry. You're one of them. But I've also
thank you.
I've also seen some horrible people and some people doing some horrible practices in this industry. And if you do a backhanded deal, then that just sums up why you can't be trusted. And it's the lack of trust that is the issue with the real estate market in general.
Integrity is key, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
On to the next question. Okay. Just give me a second, because I've got quite a lot here.
It's a good thing you're asking me those riddle questions
that
we were trying to figure out the other night. I'm just so bad at riddles.
What's been your craziest or funniest story from your 5 years in Dubai real estate?
Oh, I was not ready for this. I want to tell a funny story today. I'll save a crazy story for another day.
Okay.
Because that was a bit crazy. But I'll tell a funny story. So when I first started out, as most people do, you have that horrible rental car, that tin can on wheels. And mine was a Mitsubishi Atterage. Super proud. And I was doing my first rental viewing in Burj Khalifa. And I was like, damn, I'm going in the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. This is amazing. This is so cool. The coolest thing I've ever done. And the viewing, it was on, I want to say it was the 84th
I just
floor.
remembered where the story's going. I remember carry on.
The 84th floor, 85th floor. I think you know this story.
Yeah, I think you've told me. I just remembered where it's going.
Yeah. And basically we did the viewing. It was a really nice guy, an Arab guy. And, I was just trying to build rapport. I was really nervous. And I was just like, who's this for? Is it for yourself? Is it for family? And obviously it's for his wife. And I think we went downstairs and I was just talking to him and we were waiting for our cars. And it was just like, I'd really like built up this relationship with him. And you could tell this guy, I mean, he was like about to rent out a 2-bed. And by the way, this isn't just his primary residence. This was just, oh yeah, we just want another place, where we can just go to, back and forth. So this guy was wearing like a fancy watch. Even though he was wearing a Condora, like he was wearing Hermes shoes, like everything was decked. And I was broke, like broke.
So you were trying to put on that air of class about you,
like, oh
I'm not just new to the market, I'm actually experienced.
Yeah. I used to go around saying it's downtown with Zay Brown, like literally.
I'm glad you stopped saying that.
But like, and then we were just at the valet and I just remember like thinking, oh my God, like please don't bring out my car first. Like I can't have him see me like this, right? Like I can't be getting into this car and I'm just trying to rent out this 300K apartment.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way. So lo and behold, you can just hear this like clanking coming around the corner. I just thought, oh my God. And then he literally looked at me and he was like laughing. He's like, that's so embarrassing, whoever's car that is. And I was just there like, oh my God. Like literally my face just froze. I was like, what do I do? Like, do I say, oh yeah, that's actually my car and make him feel bad? Or do I just turn around and say, you know what? I don't even know whose car that is either. That's crazy. Like join in and be like, yeah, that's a crazy dead car. So I just turned around and I just was like, just not going to say anything. I'm just like, hopefully he doesn't like pass me the keys or doesn't, inform me that that's my car. I was like, just leave it there. Just don't move. Hopefully the guy will move first. And then the guy just comes up and goes, hey, mama, your car's ready. And I just thought, oh my God. And he just looked at me and I looked at him and I just didn't say anything. I just got in the car, drove off, got a text message like 20 minutes later. I'm so sorry. I want to apologize. Didn't know that was your car.
Oh, no.
I know you work really hard. And I was just like, you know what? He didn't mean any ill, obviously. But it was just one of those funny moments. I can laugh now. At the moment, in the moment, I was mortified.
Oh, you just wanted the ground to open up and swallow you. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'd rather have been a pedestrian. I'd rather have walked home and acted like I was just, in the area than got in that car.
Yeah. But
the fact that he came up to me and was like, oh yeah, your car's ready. Yeah, I can see that.
You could have just been like, oh, my actual car's in the garage. This is a quick rental. Just
oh yeah, this is all I could find.
The Lambo's in the garage. It's
Yeah. It's just having a break from the Urus. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my question. Okay, so I think this has happened to you actually.
Oh wow.
What are you saying? What are you saying if a client tries to negotiate your fee?
Oh.
Can we just do 1%?
This happens.
Can we just pay? Can we just do 1%?
This just happens so much, and I don't know what it is with people not respecting. I mean, it's probably due to the fact that a lot of agents do give other real estate agents a bad name,
and the service is poor.
And in all honesty, some of these agents out here, you wouldn't want to pay a fee, and they probably don't deserve it. But when you're a good agent, you deserve your fee, and it's 2%. It's flat. It's the same every single time. The client should know to expect it. And when they still try to negotiate it, I'm like, would you negotiate with a doctor? Would you? Do you go into a supermarket and start saying, actually, can I just pay half price for these? You don't. It doesn't happen anywhere else. But for some reason, people feel the need to do it with real estate agents. And I'm saying, look, if you think I'm going to negotiate my fee, when I have clients who are long-standing my clients and they still pay the full 2%, and you think I'm going to make an exception for you, then no, that's just going to devalue my existing clients, because then that's me doing a disservice to them. If I'm
who are paying for
exactly,
yeah.
so I never negotiate on it. It's always a flat look. This is the fee, and if you're not willing to pay it, then I'm not willing to work with you, because it shows a disrespect to me and my business. And I think a lot of people are too quick to negotiate on their fee. And
what if you get all the way to contract? You've done all the work. You've done the viewings. You've sent brochures. You've negotiated the price. You're now at MOU stage. And then they say, listen, can you do something? Like, work out something for me. I need like some sort of discount. What are you saying? Like, just waive that conveyancing fee. Waive that, like, give me 25% discount off the agency fee. What are you saying at that stage? Because now, potentially, they're threatening to not go ahead unless you give them a discount. So
I'm saying I'm not selling your property then.
Yeah.
Let's rip up the MOU. Let's forget about it, because it's disrespectful. And you know what it is? I think a lot of agents out here give off that need energy. We've spoken about this before, because I think people get close to a deal and they think it's they're excited. Maybe like they've already calculated the commission in their head, and they're excited about it. So anything to get it over the line, even if it's cutting the fee by whatever it is, they're just like, I want it, I need it. We've done so much work to get to this stage. That's that need energy. Like, you don't need that when you're a seasoned agent in this market and you're confident in yourself. You're confident. Like, we have lots of clients, we have lots of business going on. We don't need to just rely on one deal. And we've spoken again about how commission to us is a byproduct. It's about building the relationship, and I want a mutual respect in the relationship. And if you're not going to give me that, and try and negotiate on the fee, then it's not happening.
Also, I think we're worth our fee. Like, I won't ever command 2% if I don't feel like I've warranted that 2%. It may feel on the other side, as a buyer, you've walked in, you're like, well, she just showed me one property and it just happened to like it, and that was so easy, but did she do enough work to warrant that 2%? But it's like, I hope that every client I've successfully done a deal with, every single one has come back to me at some point. So I think that's testament to, you've obviously done a good enough job where I'm now recommending you to my friends, my family, my colleagues, my co-workers. Like, I had people recommending me to their bosses and things like that. So
they also need to understand the nature of the market. It might be your first viewing on this property with this agent, but that agent's probably had 10, 15, 20. They've had no shows. They've had people messing them around. They've had sometimes people just being super, super rude and not even acknowledging the agent, just walking in the apartment and just, throwing some side comments here and there. And that's what goes into the job. It's a commission-only job, and a lot of our time goes unpaid for. So I think it just needs to be understand across the market that 2% is non-negotiable, and it's the stuff you see it's the stuff you don't see as well that is worth the money. So yeah, of course we work for a fee. Sometimes, quite a lot of times, some deals require more effort than others. Yeah. But it makes no difference to the fee. It makes zero difference to the fee. I
mean, the deal I just did was probably 2 years of blood, sweat and tears. And it wasn't even about the commission at this point. It was just the satisfaction that I've closed this deal that I've worked so hard on. Of course,
and I know for that specific deal, you've wanted to deliver for that seller for so long. You've got such a great relationship with her that all you wanted was to get that property sold for her. It was nothing about the commission. The commission didn't matter. It was a byproduct. What you wanted to do is just deliver.
Oh, I've done a lot of other deals for a lot more, as in more commission for less work.
For less work, yeah. 100%. And that's the nature of the job. But
it wasn't even about, like you said.
It's not a job where you get given a task and you do it and within this set amount of time. It's not. It's very much. Oh, it's difficult to say, but there's so much up in the air.
It's a trust partnership almost.
Of course it is.
With these clients. Yeah. Okay, your question.
This is a good one to ask you because you've had 5 years experience in this market. You've gone through tough times with COVID, and you've seen ups and downs, all that sort of stuff. So if you could give one piece of advice to a new real estate agent coming to Dubai, what would it be?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we get so many people messaging on Instagram as well. Advice, hey, I'm thinking about it, what should I do? My one piece of advice is be really, really selective on not only the company you choose to work for, but also the people within the company because they're going to be the people that you'll surround yourself by. So do your due diligence. Make sure it fits with your sort of outlook. You know, if you're hardworking, if you pride yourself in your appearance and you're well knowledge, you're well educated, you're eloquent, you are hardworking, you are, you know, creative, and you've got all of those amazing qualities about you, then make sure you work for a company that is only going to elevate that.
Yeah.
Is only going to develop those skills, because I see a lot of people with so much potential, and they'll get disheartened because the company is too big, where they don't feel like they actually care about them because they're hiring 50 people a month. So they don't feel like they're getting that training, that one-to-one feel. They don't feel like, they just feel like
they
another
feel
number.
like a number.
Yeah. So, and it's sad because there are some real rock stars in there, you know, there's some absolute gems. I mean, look at you, for example, like you came in, hit the ground running, top broker like in the first 3 months, and that's no previous experience. Don't be afraid of not having experience before. That's really not it. I say to people, this job, it's actually better if you don't have any real estate experience because it is completely brand new. But secondly, it's really 90% personality. I've had people that's transitioned to real estate and made it so, like, made such a successful career, and they've come from all sorts. We've had people from oil rigs, we've had people coming in as dancers, we've had people coming in as teachers, people transitioned from dentists, like it's transferable. It's all about the individual's personality.
100%.
Which is why I say, like, people buy from people. So it doesn't actually matter so much about the company. It's more about you. But in terms of excelling as an individual, you have to choose the right company. You need a company that's going to support you. You need a company that is going to be, like, respectful as well of your boundaries. You don't want to feel like you're micromanaged. I personally think, you know, you're an adult, you've moved across the world. Why would you want to feel micromanaged? You want to get enough training. But I feel like some companies just treat you like a child, monitoring your whereabouts and blah, blah, blah. So I think if you're someone who's disciplined and you're in it for the right reasons, definitely be selective with the company and the people you surround yourself by. Because if you're around hungry people as well, you're only going to get super, super successful.
And then on top of that as well, make sure you're selective with your circle. Not just in your company, but also your friends when you get here.
100%.
Because the way that, you know, what you do in your free time and the attitude you have, even just waking up in the morning and going to bed at night, is so important, and it transfers over to the job. Because I've seen people who, you know, they surround themselves with the wrong people in their friendship group out here, and it affects their real estate
100%.
you know, career. So yeah, just be super selective in almost everything.
Yeah, don't get like dragged in and carried away with all the brunches, like, and the nights out and the beach clubs and all of that. Like, everyone is so easy to do it because it's a new city and you want to fit in, you want to make friends. But like, hang out with the top performers, see what they're doing. Go around and like create your own power circle. Like, when I first met you, I was like, have you been there? Have you been there? You're like, I've not been anywhere.
Yeah, I was like, just assume the answer's no.
Because like the first 6 months of your life in Dubai, you were literally work, fixated on, you know, no distractions.
Yeah.
And I respect that so much about you, because it shows that you weren't sort of, it's so easy to succumb to these things.
Of course, yeah.
Especially when you're like new and you want to fit in. And it's testament. I mean, look, it paid off. You honed in, tunnel vision, 6 months, no distractions, first 6 months, and you hit the ground running, build up your bank account, got a new car, got a new set of teeth. Like, so many things, right?
Yeah.
But it all paid off.
And it all came from just not getting sucked in and not being distracted.
Yeah.
Which I think is way too easy to do. In a place like this, which is so amazing, it has so much to offer. But, you know, as and when. You know, literally, the luxury is there for when you deserve it.
Yeah.
Not just when you want it. And I think that's important, because, well, of course, we still have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you know, we were out on a yacht the other day having some drinks, and it's it is great fun, but it's
not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, would you be partying and going to a beach club and, you know, spending all this money on drink and food if you were back home? No, you wouldn't. So it's like, bring that same sort of mentality where it's like, you know, I'll give myself these small luxuries when I deserve it.
Yeah, discipline yourself.
Because I think people come out here and they just think it's holiday mode. But I've also got a job on the side. It's like, no, you've got a job. and then you just happen to live in one of the best destinations in the world on the side, you know?
Yeah. That's actually such a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That should be the focus, your priority.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, guys. Well, next section we're moving on to, we're going to be talking about a couple of topics that have hit the news. Obviously, unless you're living under a rock, we all know that Dubai was hit with some floods. You know, it affected some areas more than others. We've had clients affected by it. We've had friends affected by it. And no word of a lie, we personally directly weren't affected. We were quite lucky in the sense that we live in apartment blocks. We were definitely witnessing all the drama, but we didn't have anything.
No, luckily our apartments were totally fine. Our buildings were fine. Our cars were fine. I could see it from my window, the destruction that was happening. I mean, I could see Sheikh Zayed Road underwater. But,
but our buildings, our areas, props to Imar for downtown. That's where my building is, and Dylan's building, and DIFC Index Tower. I mean, the guys, the maintenance guys, the security guys, they were very much prepared for it. We had several warnings beforehand. Luckily, my parking is on podium, so it's elevated.
Yeah.
But even yours on basement.
Mine was lower ground. It was below the main street, and still my car was totally fine. Drainage wasn't an issue. So, but obviously, you know, our heart goes out to the people who were really badly affected by this. And I think a lot of people, especially some of the Western media, are. You know, they're saying negative things about this place, and it can't handle a bit of water. This was the largest rainfall in 75 years.
In the history of Dubai.
There's only so much in a hot country, one that's built in the desert, that you can actually prepare for that. I think they did everything in their power to do the best to prepare for it. And now they're obviously doing everything in their power to repair the damage that it's caused. But it's an act of God. It was
and
crazy.
let's clear something up, by the way, as well, because a lot of people have misjudged that this isn't something that was caused from cloud seeding. This particular storm that broke out on Tuesday last week, that was actually caused from the back of the Oman storm. So that had come over. It wasn't a case of the government, you know, put too much in, injected the clouds and stuff. This was something, a natural disaster, which happens across the world. And I think the main takeaways from it should be, one, the bounce back was impeccable. We were up and running. Roads started to open within 24 hours. And I would say 72 hours later was pretty much back to normal. If this was the UK and we were suffering from snowfall, we're shut down for weeks, let's be honest, you know.
That's what I mean. A couple of days shutdown for rain is not too dissimilar to what happens when it snows back in the UK.
Exactly.
And people are going nuts. It's like,
it's not
you
that
know,
crazy.
snow, and they have that every single year. Whereas this is once in 75 years.
So one, the bounce back's good. And also the second thing as well, which I want to point out, is it's amazing to see the amount of care and love that comes out in situations like this. So, I mean, one of my old managing directors at one of my old companies, he came on and was like, look guys, I've got an apartment, it's in great condition, it's not been affected by the floods, if any family wants to use it, feel free to use it. And I thought that was just such an amazing thing to come on and do. And it was public because I think he wanted to encourage other people to do the same. Because, you know, if you're in a fortunate position, it's giving. He didn't have to do it, and he did. So shout out to John Lyons from Espas. But he did, and I just thought that was such an amazing thing. And other people did it from the back of that as well, which was great to see. It's really warming to see that, and that community that coming together. You know, we were seeing people helping other people, getting the kayaks out, sending food over. We're seeing animals being rescued, but also as well, it's the respect that went for the damaged goods and the properties, like the likes of the malls. Like we saw those shops are being flooded and they're open. I'm telling you now, if that was London, if that was central parts of Manchester, people would be raiding those shops.
Of course.
If those shops were just left open and exposed like that,
most countries in the world,
they'd be raided. Here it's not. And that speaks volumes.
The craziest thing is, I was driving down Sheikh Zayed Road the second day after the flood, and there's Lamborghinis, Ferraris, G-Wagons, all sitting there being abandoned, sitting there, no one's around, the owner's not around, the car's just sitting there, and not a single person touched them until the owners came back and either got them towed away or managed to rescue the car. Anywhere else in the world, that is free money sitting there on the roads. Whereas in Dubai, people honestly have such a respect for the safety here. and the lifestyle, because we all benefit from it.
Yeah.
None of us are worried about anything. People are leaving their cars in the middle of the road and they're not worried about it, which is incredible. So I think that's such a testament to this place. Like you said, no one was raiding the shops, even though the security systems were compromised. You know, the doors have been left open. You know, it was free reign for most other places in the world. But here it was like, no, everyone's got that respect. No one touched the cars, no one touched the shops, nothing. So
basically, long story short, guys, a little bit of rain, and we handled it. So that's what we do. That's just what we do. You know, Dubai always overcomes, and we always find solutions for things. And the ultimate goal is to get the city back up and running super efficiently. And that's exactly
and best
what we
believe
did.
they'll, off the back of this, they'll be putting in measures to make sure they're better prepared for next time.
Yeah.
I hope there isn't a next time, but let's be honest, that, like, you know,
it's new.
Could be another
it's
75
a new
years.
thing. We're not
exactly.
used to this.
So now they've seen that. Now they've seen the damage it caused, and probably they can now put in more preventative measures in order to make sure when we do have rainfall, heavy rainfall, we can better deal with it. That's the way this place works. It's always adapting. It's always getting better, and I think that's worth noting.
Yeah. Okay, guys, now we're on to the third section and the final section, which is where we talk about people's personal experiences, section I like to call the horror stories. So we're going to be picking out people's shared experiences, stories on the internet. Some of them are from Facebook groups, some of them from the internet itself. But it's good to dive in and just to hear real, raw experiences. And yeah, let's digest them. So do you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. This is a little short one,
Okay.
but I kind of want to hear what you would do in this scenario as well. So this is from a thread, and they've said, one of our close readers, who is also an agent, arrived at a listing and accidentally walked in on the seller taking a bath. The seller was an older lady who barely glanced up and said, "Don't worry, dear, it's only body parts," and kept washing away. Can you believe that?
There is no way.
I'd be out of there blocking that seller's number. I could
no
never
way.
look them in the eye ever again.
They stood up.
Well,
In the bath?
they're in the bath.
But
just
they're
washing.
naked.
Well, yeah.
But can you see, or is it bubbly? Because if I'm just seeing a head and bubbles,
I don't know.
I can come back from that. But if they stood up, or if it's clear, and I've seen things,
You know what it is? The fact that
there's no coming back.
it's an older lady as well. I feel like old people just don't care. They're just like,
They
you know
don't.
what,
You know, in
whatever.
the change rooms and stuff in the UK, I
Yeah.
swear, they're
just
over
don't care.
it because they're
It's-
just like, I'm not here to please you.
They're at peace with themselves. They're at peace with who they are. They don't care if you see them naked.
Yeah, it's the least
But
of their worries.
I think I'd struggle to look a seller in that.
I couldn't come back from that.
I'm trying to think of any of my sellers right now. If I'd seen that,
It would just be, it would be, I'd love to say that I could, you know, it would be really hard. But you know what happens? You know, this is something that really freaks me out, by the way, is that when sellers go, oh yeah, the door's open, take time, like take your client anytime. And I always get to the door and I'm just like, I always knock, I always ring the bell, just in case.
just in case, yeah.
I've had a nightmare where they informed me, this was when I was a rookie, by the way. I don't move like this now. But back in the day, they're like, yeah, head in, the apartment's open. And they typed the apartment number, blah, blah, blah. I was going to go and get photos. I walked in, family, having dinner at the table. And I was just like, and I just walked in. And I had to carry the big old camera as well,
Yeah.
you know? Like, so I'm there. And I'm swinging in. And I walked too far in for it to just be like I was too far in. It's so embarrassing. So to this day, every apartment, I knock, I double knock, I ring the bell just to make sure, even though there's no one in there, because I just don't want to ever experience that again. And it's happened. And honestly, you can get into a lot of trouble because it's trespassing, you know?
Yeah.
But the guy had basically turned out he'd written the wrong apartment number by one digit. He was off because he mistyped it on the phone.
Oh, wow.
So it was the one next door. And I was just like... Oh, and luckily they were nice, but imagine it was like an intimate moment. Imagine it was something private. Imagine, you know, it's just
That is
scary
a horror
things we go
story.
through. But
Yeah.
I couldn't come back from that. Couldn't come back. No. All right, let me talk you through this. This was actually taken. This is someone's. I'd say like it's someone's experience. Obviously not a happy experience. Okay.
Okay.
Anonymous agent. Sorry, they're posting anonymous, so they're saying, I'm anonymous as the agent is in this group. Real estate agents, I've put an offer in to buy an apartment, and the agent who I've spoken to with on WhatsApp Is asking for a check for 10% made payable to the seller without any kind of contract. Is that normal? Question mark. This agent is from beep real estate. I've asked them to put it in writing from their company email. I believe this may be because of a security deposit and won't be cash, but it's a lot of money to sign on a check over without having anything in writing. Appreciate the help. Thoughts?
So wait, she's just talking about a security deposit,
Yeah.
right? But she's not got a signed MOU or anything yet.
Yeah. So obviously you can tell. This is what I would say, right, to break this down. From this post, it's quite clear she's a first-time buyer, I would say.
Yeah.
Now, agents mess up all the time, and the first thing they do is they don't even check, is this your first purchase? Do you understand how this works? Let me guide through the steps that we're going to encounter. So for them, it's like, this is a shock. Why are you asking me for a 10% check? I've not seen anything. And it's your job to sort of educate, guide.
Yeah, that's just miscommunication from the agent. You have to
100%.
explain the process out here. It can be a little daunting. People that are used to, a bit more. I don't want to say a thorough system because I prefer the system here, but it is just a little bit more. There's more steps to it. There's more, legal stuff involved and
Elsewhere,
from the UK anyway. Whereas out here, it's really, really quite simple.
Like, we know the norm. Like, one of the comments made me laugh as well. He was like, don't do it. And
Don't
obviously,
do it.
That was it. That was the only feedback she got was don't do it. So those three words.
I mean, you're meant to give the check over upon signing.
Upon
I
signing.
think
This is the norm. Is that you get your
miscommunication
contract,
is.
then you give your check. That's the norm. But obviously in this situation, we understand in Dubai market, it moves very fast. You could leave that viewing and someone else has signed it so quick out here.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes an agent will say, hey, if this is something you're really keen on, bring your checkbook.
Bring the check to the
because
viewing,
it will show the seller that you're ready to move and
Yeah,
execute.
seasoned investors, they'll write checks before seeing an MOU,
Exactly.
and then we'll go to the contract stage.
Yeah.
But someone that's buying for the first
First
time,
time. You
they
can't
do
expect
need to a
that.
little bit be handheld through the process. And
Yeah.
as an agent, that's your duty. So
But also she said here as well, like I asked for them to write it in an email from their work email to confirm this. That's easy.
it's easy. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be able to do that? Do you know what I mean? I mean, anyone giving out any check, firstly you have to make sure you get a receipt for that check. Even a deposit check. Get a receipt to say, I've given a check, I've handed it, it's in the possession of XYZ broker from this brokerage. That's what you should get anyway. The 10% deposit for MOUs, they don't get encashed. It's a personal check, they don't get encashed. They get given back to you upon successful transfer.
Yeah.
So it gets kept with the broker as stakeholder throughout the duration. Obviously, if you pull out, forfeit, then you lose your deposit. But all of this goes to court anyway. You can't just cash any check whenever you feel like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what I always do is even when I was getting checks before we even got to the receipt stage, whenever I collect a check from anyone, I'll get my Emirates ID. I'll get a photo with the check beside the Emirates ID, and I'll send them a WhatsApp just saying, check collected on this date, we'll send receipt shortly. Just so it gives them a bit more security.
Yeah.
There's certain things you can do if you have to go back to the office to get a receipt or whatever it is, just to make the client feel more comfortable. But yeah, that's just miscommunication from the agent. That's an agent not doing their duty.
Yeah,
which is,
that's what I mean. The agent's obviously not guided them. I actually have a guide for every sort of scenario when it comes to buying a property, like cash to finance, finance to finance. And I just send them out to first-time buyers so that they know step by step where are we at in the process. And nothing's a surprise. And always, sort of like reiterate and remind them that they're welcome to ask you questions at any time, at any stage, so they feel that you're approachable. The fact that this person's had to go to a Facebook group, post anonymously to say, hey guys, is this normal? Because my own agent isn't reassuring me enough. That's a red flag, massive red flag.
100%.
Right, you go.
Right, on to the next one. This is kind of similar to the last one, but I was...
You've got the craziest
I
stories. Mine are like-
I genuinely laughed out loud when I read this, and I just could not imagine. Okay, so this is written by an agent, clearly. We all hate it when the seller hangs around during an open house or a showing, shuffling right behind, eavesdropping, or interjecting an opinion. But for one agent, the seller took this a step further. She stayed in the house for showings, but hid under the covers of her bed. And it wasn't subtle. It was very strange. And
You're lying.
It was very strange, and when confronted by her listing agent, she always denied it. Talk about a real estate horror story.
Sorry? I beg your pardon?
Could you imagine that? And this is the master.
Hiding.
Oh, this is the master bed. Oh.
Hiding.
And it's so obviously a person, but you don't want to address it because you're like, this is just.
I can't even come to grips
It's one of
with
those
what's
things.
happening.
It's too awkward to even address.
Yeah, I know. The fact she denied it.
Yeah.
Wild. What? Okay, can we just say something though? Unless my personal opinion is in like just a sort of rule of thumb, I never like to have the seller and buyer in the same room, especially on the viewing. I just think you need to keep interests separate because in the nice way possible, if you're a seller, if you're a homeowner, you're listening to this, the buyer is never going to be honest with you standing there. They're never going to walk into your home because even if you are an investor and you don't live in that home, you are the homeowner, right? They're never going to walk in and be like, you know what, I hate this place. Or you know what, the lighting is terrible, or I hate the furniture, the aesthetic's bad, or they won't give us their honest feedback. They'll just sit there the entire duration, smiling like politely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then we'll have to pry it out of them later. If you're not there, we can speak far more openly about the pros and the cons, and therefore really gauge if they're really interested or serious about the property. I just think sometimes, and it's lovely that sellers get really passionate and they want to be involved. I've had sellers take over the entire viewing. I've had sellers go, I've been left out at the front door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they've just taken over, and that's fine, but it's not what the buyer feels comfortable with.
It's also
9
not,
out of 10 times.
It's not why you bring an agent on board.
Yeah.
You bring an agent on board, it's their job, because what people need to understand is we need to control the emotions of both clients.
Yeah.
And if you put those emotions in the same room, it can be an issue, because a lot of sellers get too attached to the property because it has sentimental value,
Right.
and they might value it more.
They might love the yellow rug. The buyers
exactly.
don't. Do you know
but
what
then
I mean?
the buyer also, it could be an emotional purchase for them. It could be, and we need to take control of that negotiation, because it's what we do every day and it's what we're experts in. But yeah, sellers shouldn't interject in a viewing unless it's requested.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had sellers say to me, is it better I'm not here? Is it better I'm here? I'm like, look, it's better you're not here.
Yeah.
Just let me.
Because also
job,
the buyer has questions mid viewing, like where's the seller from? Why is he selling? Blah blah blah. And these are really like questions that I don't think you want to be talking about with you right there. I mean, sometimes, look, don't get me wrong, especially in a home that you live in that's on the market for sale and it's a property tour, I get that, you might have kids, you might have to be home, and that's fine. But it just means that, park yourself in a room somewhere and just allow them breathing space, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's the ones I'm talking about are the ones which are like following the buyer, breathing down the neck. It just makes the buyer totally uncomfortable. And if anything, even if they liked the property, they'd still feel put off by it. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Hi everyone, anonymous poster. I'm really upset at how I was treated today by a real estate agent. I am tied in now to the apartment as everything is signed and money is paid, but I don't want to deal with this agent again. I asked for some reasonable things to be checked and sorted in the apartment before I move in a couple of days. And rather than discussing with me and agreeing what can and can't be done, she started to speak to me like I was dirt and stupid. She started to speak, sorry, 1 second, this is making excuses for things and being defensive and rude. It has taken the excitement away from moving in, and I'm worried about how I will deal with her if problems arise during my tenancy. Does anyone have any advice? The agent was so rude and unprofessional, I don't feel like I can just forget it. Thank you. That's terrible.
Essentially, everything's been done, contracts are signed, money's paid, and now the agent is just
don't talk to me,
hands off, wipe my hands of this, I've got my commission, I'm away.
Exactly.
That's everything again that's wrong with this market, and probably most real estate markets around the world, but it's just what we've seen firsthand. And it's agents treating clients as commissions, and I hate it. It's as soon as you got a commission, you're not a person anymore.
Exactly.
You're a number on a board, I'm on to
You're
the
probably
next
blocked.
And
the agent's probably cashed the check, blocked you as a client, like onto the next.
And I hate that.
Terrible.
And I remember working at companies and people would tell me that. Like a tenant would message me after signing the contract, perhaps he'd moved in, and they're asking me for stuff. And other agents in the office would be like, why are you bothering with that? They've moved in, your job's done. I'd be like, well, no. They clearly are coming to me because they trust me and they want a bit of help. If it's something that's not taking a lot of time, then yeah, I'll make time in my day. Obviously, there's certain things you have to give them over to the owner to do anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's something I can help with, then
you can mediate it, absolutely.
Of course, 100%. And I think it's because it's working with people, and you need to treat people as people. It blows my mind that people are actually out there doing stuff like that.
It's so short-sighted though. They just sort of just care about the money, and that's it. And obviously, like, that's really sad, the part where she said, it's taking the excitement of moving in. And that's really sad. You want to give and deliver the experience. That's what we say. Prioritize the experience, prioritize the relationship and the rapport, and commission is
100%.
secondary. And that's how it should be treated.
Always.
And here it's completely the opposite way
Well, it's not
around.
even encouraged. A lot of companies, it's the commission that is the focus in a lot of these companies.
It's
and
because
that's
the
issue.
companies are commission based only, right? And then everywhere you look in an office, is commissions are on the board. And then you've got your KPIs. And then your sales manager is breathing down your neck. Where's your deal file? Where's your deal file? And then it's like, so that's why, in a way, these agents are being almost raised and trained to just care about the commission.
Well, I'll share a story that I was at one of the companies I was at, and this is actually what made me leave said company. And one of my clients had invited me to a boat show. It was when the boat show was on at the Dubai Harbour.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. I was like, yeah, this is great. This is time for me to go and build rapport with a client. He was going to introduce me to his circle. And I was like, wow, you can't put a price on that. That's so valuable.
Yeah.
And I told my sales manager, this is what I'm going to, like, I've been invited tomorrow. Is it okay if I go? He was like, well, are they signing an apartment? Are they doing it? Are they bringing in anyone?
Is there any check?
I was like, well, no, but I'm building a relationship here. This is important. He went, no, sorry. Unless you have a viewing or your contract signing, you can't leave the office. I was like,
the relationship rapport building is out the window.
and I was like, I'm sorry, this is a commission only role. Let me, at least manage my own diary. I see the value in going to somewhere like this. I want to build my network. I want to build relationships. That's why I'm in this job. This is the beauty of this job. The fact that we get to meet people and we get to have those incredible conversations. Whereas he was just like, no, if they're not bringing money in, they're not signing a contract, I don't care.
Crazy. I remember you telling me this when I was, if for those of you who don't know, when I was looking to hire Dylan, and I was like, networking for me is invaluable. And I think more brokers...
This isn't for hiring me for this company. This was a last company.
Not for our company.
Yeah.
For our old company. But like, I remember you were telling me this on the phone and I was just blown away because I think that relationships are built even more so outside of the real estate journey.
Mm-hmm.
So like, once I've signed and sealed a deal, it shouldn't just be ended there. Like, meet up for a coffee, check in, have lunch, have dinners, whatnot, network, go to these events, and they're the ones that will be your repeat clients. They're the ones that will not see you as just a broker.
Yeah.
They'll confide in you, ask you for advice on things that aren't even related to the next purchase. Just, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, my sister's got this property. What do you think about it? And I think ultimately that's what will set you apart. I mean, it has done. From the rest of the market is what will set any agent apart. So, yeah, I mean, look, that's sort of everything, I would say. Have you got another story?
I've got one more.
Okay, one more story.
We'll finish on, and then we'll finish. Okay.
Yours are way more fun than mine. Mine are like terrifying.
This one is titled "Female Realtor Fends Off Attacker During an Open House."
Attacker?
Yeah. Okay. We'll just get into it. And just so you know, this was the tamest one on this thread.
Okay.
But, okay. In 2020, a Colorado realtor named Donna Hetzler found herself in a life-threatening situation with a man posing as an interested client. She was hosting an open house at a 2-story home, and after showing the man the downstairs area, Hetzler led him upstairs to finish the tour. As she was showing the master bedroom, he pulled out a knife, a rope, and a can of bear spray and told her to get in the closet. But little did he know, Hetzler was carrying a concealed firearm. Only in America, right? She was in shock and couldn't believe what was happening. But she had trained for situations like these. I don't know what kind of real estate training she's getting, by the way, but she had trained for situations like these.
Only in America you're getting trained to handle a firearm as a realtor. Jesus.
So, she drew her gun and pointed it at the attacker, but it didn't stop him from spraying her with bear spray. Her skin and eyes were on fire, but luckily she managed to get a shot off in his direction. Whether he was hit or not is unclear, but it was enough to scare him off for good. The lingering effects of the bear spray made it difficult, but Hetzler was able to find her phone downstairs, call 911, and escape unharmed. End of story.
I can't even believe that. Is that true?
Thank God we're in Dubai. Yeah. Jesus. Of course it's true. It's America. Come on.
Oh my God.
And just so you know, I said that's the tamest on that thread. There was deaths in that thread.
Oh my God.
That's what I mean. When you're in Dubai, you don't even need to switch on that. You don't even need to switch on that safety side of your brain.
You know, that's so true. As soon as I touch down in London, that sort of like sixth sense comes out. You know, that like be alert, be aware, grab everything, hold things tighter, don't wear anything too flashy. Like that sort of like, even on the tube, like your eyes are very much like you're looking around, anyone following you. I don't know if that's a female thing. I don't know if it's a London thing.
No, it's
but it's you've got to be more wary. And here, like you said, I've not even thought about things like that. The open houses, I mean, I'm asking everyone to come in, you know, and you don't think twice about feeling on edge. I mean, that's
Can you imagine that? Hosting an open house and then all of a sudden there's a gun on you. Not a gun, a knife.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that's scary times.
She's really working for that commission.
I mean, that's... Jesus.
Do you think the seller was negotiating her fee?
I would get rid of that listing. I wouldn't return to that house. I couldn't go back.
Nothing to do with the house, though.
I know, but someone's just tried to attack me in that house. I couldn't be seen in that house again.
Anyway,
I mean, out here, I run out of a house because of a cockroach. If there's a cockroach, that's happened, and I've ran out. So.
But anyway, I think that wraps up that segment. That was interesting.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Had a good time.
Mm-hmm. And I think that wraps up the entire episode as well.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 of our podcast. So thank you if you've made it this far for sitting through us.
Appreciate that.
You know, this is something we'll hopefully get better at.
But, very raw around the edges right now. But yeah,
100%. But yeah, no, thank you from me.
Thanks from me as well. And also, we want to say, for the next podcast, if you guys want to write into us, we'll put all of our information, you know, on the screen somewhere. But we'd like to actually hear your stories. If you have funny stories, even if you're a realtor, you want to share your experiences.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's bought a property, who's selling a property, who's a tenant, who's a landlord, whatever it is, share your experiences, write into us. We want to hear about it. We can keep everything anonymous. We won't put anyone's names out there. We just want to share everyone's sort of stories out here.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the end of that, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.